Well, first, pretty excited locker room in there, as you can imagine. So proud of my football team and the way they just took it one play at a time. It's for me, just to see them grow. This was the next stage in development of our football team, and that they needed to just not think about outcome and think about one play at a time, get to the next play, focus, refocus, and that was the charge all week. Many people had talked about not getting off to a good start and all those things. How do you change that? And so we're talking so much more about just locking in mentally on one play at a time. Don't think about the scoreboard. And I thought they did a great job. The second thing that I'd like to bring up is the crowd was unbelievable. They created an energy unlike one that I can remember that was sustainable for our football team. That was truly a home field advantage for us. And then I thought tactically we played smart, the last thing. We were able to pin Alabama in poor field position mostly the first half, made it difficult for them. And I thought we just played smart. We didn't turn the football over. We had the one play where we came out of coverage late. Other than that, I think our guys played really smart football. So, the basic tenets of winning games like this is one play at a time, play tactically smart, take care of the football. I thought we did all those things and really grew up today. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Microphone. Coach, the thinking on the two-point conversion, when you got the ball, were you saying we're going to take it and if we score, we're going to go for it, or was it a decision at that moment?
It was a decision at that moment. I just felt as I thought about it, if we could boil this game down to one play and win this game before the game started, if you asked me, hey, I'm going to give you one play, and if you're successful on that one play, you beat Alabama, I would have taken that 100 times out of 100. And so at that moment, it kind of hit me that way. And I knew we had a really good play that we hadn't used and they hadn't seen. And when you get 5 out on the perimeter, you truly have a threat. And so I felt really good about the play, and it was well executed, and that was the thought behind it.
Yeah, hey, Coach, right here. Just what can you say about Jaden Daniels? Obviously, another tremendous performance from him, and continues to just grow by the week. What can you say about his play?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not here unless our quarterback plays really well. This is whether it's Pee Wee football or high school football, college football, or the NFL. Your quarterback has to play well, and he did some really amazing things, and in particular late, right? I mean, he made big plays late when he needed to. He ran when he needed to. He threw it and made big plays. But, look, this is a team game. We did some great things defensively. Our special teams was good. Look, to beat a top 10 team again at home and beat Alabama, you have to have a complete football game. No more questions? Okay.
Over here. Coach. Right here. You said it was important to have Harold Perkins and B.J. Ojolari on the field at the same time. Their pass rush eliminated a lot of Bryce Young's opportunities tonight, especially that pivotal one in the first half. What makes them so effective together?
Well, I think it's just about really putting 11 of your best players on the field at the same time more than anything else. I don't know that there's anything, tactically that says those two guys. I think it's just the collection of getting your best 11 guys on the field. And, Harold's still learning, right? I mean, there's things that you don't see that, we have to adjust when he comes over on the sideline. But there's some things that he does that you can't coach either. So there's the pluses and the minuses there, but clearly when he's on the field, he's making plays and he's productive.
Brian, after the Florida State game, if I were to have told you that you would have beaten two top 10 teams and control your own destiny to win the SEC West, what would you have thought?
Yeah, I mean, look, I knew after the Florida State game that we were going to get better. I knew this football team was going to be a better team in November. But I don't think that I've ever in my career kind of looked at the crystal ball and kind of said, hey, this is how many wins we're going to get or how many losses. What I did know is they had fight in them after the Florida State game. The way they came back, the way they battled. You know, we got an extra point block. Like, that's on me. Like, it wasn't on them. So I knew that there were good days ahead for this group. How they have worked out, and that's kind of why I went for it. I'm willing to do anything for this group because I think that they have shown that they'll make it happen some way, and they did again tonight.
Hey, Coach, just right here. With the two young tackles, how do you think they sort of held up today against one of the best pass rushers in the nation?
I don't know how they do it, to be honest with you. It's amazing. Now, they have a mental toughness that is unusual for their age and lack of experience. They just are so strong mentally that they can go back after Campbell gives up a sack and he comes to the sideline and he can explain to me precisely what happened and the steps that he's going to take that it never happens again for the rest of his life. Like, I'm like, whoa, we're good. We're good here. Just get to the next play. But that's how unusual those two freshmen are. They are so focused on doing their job and doing it well. It's quite unusual.
Coach, two questions if I can. Talk about, it was a 1-point game, but talk about the play that Major Burns did chasing down McClellan early in the game to save that touchdown.
He better chase him down.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be inside out on him. It was an angle route, and he's supposed to be inside out leverage. He got over the top, cut back inside, and he did a great job of getting to him and tracking him down, and subsequently holds him to a field goal.
And then also Jaden Daniels, everybody's talked about and written about his progression and how well he's playing now from the beginning of the season. And they talk about Coach Denbrock and you. Talk about Joe Sloan, the quarterback's coach.
No, I'm not talking about Joe. No way.
And the work that he's done.
No. He wants to run for governor, Joe. So he's got a career in politics. Joe's been amazing. He really has. He's fun to work with. I enjoy being in the room with him. But he is obviously been instrumental in the development of Jaden and the quarterbacks and has done a terrific job. Absolutely. Thank you for bringing it up.
Over here. Oh,
Brian, sorry to ask you another coaching question, but what can you say about the job Matt House has done with this group with so many transfers and freshmen on the field at the same time?
Yeah, I think, that's one of these things that I think when we look back on it, remember now, we're talking about 15 to 17 transfers and, getting them to communicate, effectively, from different backgrounds and not knowing a system of defense. And, people talk about the Florida State game. We had 7 or 8 communication busts in that game where guys were just trying to learn how to get the signals down. And to watch that growth has been really fun because Matt's personality and demeanor is such that, he can go up to a guy and coach him and demand it, but never be demeaning. And I think that just says a lot about his style.
over here, Brian. Coach, for lack of a better term, how much cojones do you think it took to go for 2 in that situation?
Well, look, you're going to get second-guessed if you don't get it. I get it. But to me, I just felt like I looked at our team, I assessed the situation, and I just felt like it was the right thing to do. I felt like, you know, I don't know that our fans would have been criticizing. They want me to get the win. That's what I'm here for. But I think if you look at it, and you say, well, let's get the quarterback in a good play. Let's get him on the edge. Let's utilize his talents. That you really can't quarrel with the decision. So I don't know that it was that much of a huge decision from that perspective.
Coach, what in the second quarter on Sage Ryan's strip, what were you told and the explanation from the officials on
They
that?
said that he had not gained full possession, and because of that, when the ball was then slapped out of his hands, the tight end was out of bounds. So therefore, there was no recovery. And the ball on the other one with Wingo, they said that there was not clear. It was not clear and definitive that there was a tip from the replay official.
Coach, right here. Before the season started, when you first took the job, you said you weren't scared to come to the SEC because you wanted games like this, you wanted challenges like this, and you said you wanted to beat Nick Saban. So what does it feel like now that all that kind of came into fruition?
Yeah, so that's a soundbite, right? I mean, this is really about building a program and doing it week in and week out, and we're here to graduate champions, and we want to win a championship. Now we've put ourselves in a position where in November we're contenders for the SEC championship, but we've got Arkansas next. We're going to enjoy this win over the next 24 hours, and then we're going to get ready for Arkansas. So, that was a bit of a press conference soundbite, but it's really about building a program here at LSU that can graduate its players and win championships, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, you got time for two more, Wilson and Brian. I mean, specifically, if you could share it, what was the name of the 2-point call, and just kind of how did it work? Why did you feel confident in it?
Well, it's a play that gives you options at the quarterback position. We're in a sprint out. The ball was in the middle of the field. It gives you the option if they are going to blitz inside, you're out on the perimeter. If they come off the edge, you've got the ability to get the ball out of hand quickly. If they play bracket coverage and they want to double out the receivers, you got a quarterback now on the perimeter, very dangerous. So it's kind of one of those catch-all plays that gets your best player with the ball in his hands on the perimeter, where he can make multiple decisions. And I felt like if we're going to go for two, let's get him moving and give him multiple options, and he'll kind of sort it out and make the play necessary.
I believe you told ESPN after the game that you were kind of emotional. I guess
I was.
Yeah, you're at this point, year one in this program. I guess why are you emotional?
Because that was such a great game. I mean, and I had never beaten Alabama, and so me too. That's my friend Pam. She hasn't beaten Alabama either. She's been with me, but so. Those things are kind of like you want to check the box and move on. And so, you get a little emotional about those. And I was emotional, not for myself, but I was emotional for our team because I know what we look like in January, and to see where we are today, that's pretty emotional. Great, thank you.